Hey gang, Rodin here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another edition of our one-day playthroughs. A series where I take a look at games that, in a world where an average AAA game takes 60 to 100 hours to play nowadays, it's nice to be able to go back and look at ones that you can finish in a day, or in this case, maybe even an hour or so. And we're going to go back to 1989 and play one of my absolute favorite games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. As you can see, we are playing Shadowgate. This game originally came out on PCs, or actually really old computers, back in '89. Was featured on the Macintosh, the Apple II GS, the Atari ST, Amiga, MS-DOS, Nintendo Entertainment System, which is obviously the version we're playing today, and a bunch of post-NES releases on the Game Boy, on Palm OS, on Pocket PC. It was even released on the PS4 and Xbox One. Those versions came out in 2017, but this version came out March 31st of 1988, and I will tell you, it is far and away one of the most fun games I ever played in my time with the little blue, or little gray monolith rather, I should say, that is the Nintendo Entertainment System. So what we're going to do is we are just going to dive into this game, and we're going to see how long it takes to get through it. Now, it is not a very long game, nor was it really designed to be. But what it is it's a challenging game that on a lot of levels really shouldn't have worked for the time, because it's a point-and-click game. And this was at a stage where point-and-click games were staples of PC gaming. But on the NES, when you had the ability to play games like Super Mario 2 and Super Mario Bros. 3 and Legend of Zelda and Castlevania and Metroid and all these great side-scrolling, expansive RPG action-adventure games, all of a sudden having a developer like Icom Simulations and Kemco come out with a game like this was what we was like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? It almost felt like a step backwards. But in reality, what we're in store for here is a game that is actually surprisingly deep, has a good amount of challenge to it, and is a game that you can go back. If I replay this quite often, along with the second point-and-click game that Kemco and Icom came out with, which is a 40s-style noir detective game called Deja Vu, which I actually like that game more than I do Shadowgate, but I would have to put that in like a 1 and 1A list. So how this game works is really simple. So you see I've got this hand that moves around all these different options. And then you can come up here and be able to click on different things. Now, there is a catch to it. So in order to be able to do certain things, like if I want to hit this skull, it's the skull of some creature, meaning seems quite clear. Death lurks inside. But if I hit open, now I have to go and hit take, and key 1 is in hand. So now we have the key. Now we have to use key 1. Oops, because I can't find the keyhole. So I don't need it for this one. But the door opens on its own. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to move, and any square that you will see on this grid here is a potential direction in which you can move. So it's a step up from the old style text adventures where you had to key in if you wanted to go north, south, east, west. This allows you to do it in and of itself. So the object of this game is that we have ventured into Castle Shadowgate, and we have to stop the Dreadlord from destroying the world. And he will do that by summoning a creature called the Behemoth. And over the course of this game, we have to be able to find an ancient artifact that will help us in our quest to stop him. That's basically the long and the short of it. Now, if there's one key element that I cannot stress enough, it is that we need to be able to stock up on torches. Because as you see, we have one that is lit here. And then there's one that's lit on the other side of the list. As we progress through the game, they will go down. And we will get a musical cue letting us know when we are in trouble of the torch going out. And if the torch goes out and we don't have another one lit, now we need to use the key, I believe. Oh, that one doesn't fit. Okay. The door is locked. There we go. So getting back to the torches, if the torch light goes out and we don't have a fresh one lit, we die. So you have to be prepared. And anytime you see a torch up on a wall, just take it. You can never have enough torches. Now, right now we have 3 torches, and then there is this torch. These are different things. So this torch will not be something we can use to keep our way going. We will have to use that one at a different time. So we open this book, and we take key 2. Now, if you look over here, you see all these stones, and this one's a little bit lighter. That's where we want to go. But before we do that, now that we have key 2, that opens. And we have a sword and a sling. So now I have to move out of here. And now that we're back in this space, we want to move this way. And now we have 3 doors. And what we want to do is we want to open the right door first. And we want to move this way. Now, we see a shark in the water. And you see a skeleton there holding a key. We cannot get to this yet, because if we try and go in there, we're going to drown and we're going to become fish food. But what we can do is we can open this door. And we can move this way. So, it looks like we've got a dead end here. Because there's a stairway here that is blocked. But if we look at the waterfall, you see there is a spot here that we can move to. What we will do is we will move under the waterfall. Actually, if we move... There we go. So we are under the waterfall, and now what we need to do is we need to take a swing and hit this rock. And there's a bag. Open said bag. And we want to take all 3 gems. And I'm going to just take the bag. Because one thing you find in this game is that you can never have enough stuff in your inventory. We'll leave leave the shark alone. Whoop, before we do that, actually, let's go back over here. There's one thing we can also take. Is we can take the loose stones that are here. Alright, now we can head back. And we want to open this door. Move this way. And as we see, there are more torches here. Now, there is this contraption here, but we can't open this door. Or we can, actually. But you see this socket here. This socket requires us to use, whoops, one of the 3 gems we just got out of the bag. What we want is the white gem. Now we can go and take this crystal. So we take the sphere. And now we can move up into the next room. So, there is something right there up ahead. And it is very hot in here. So, if we want to survive this, the first thing we need to take is we must take the shield. Because here comes the flame. And the dragon cooks the shield, but we are still alive. Now, what we can take is we can take the hammer. And we will take the spear. Now we've got to get out of here. Also, that change in music, if you look up here, our torch is almost out. Which you would think in a room with a fire-breathing dragon. That wouldn't be a problem. But what we need to do is just use the torch. Now, once we have stepped out of this room, the shield resets itself. And we can take up to 3 items at a time. So, we'll take the torch. And this is a little repetitive, but it's what we need to be able to do just to keep going through here. We'll do that one more time. And when you think about it, and I hope you guys have been following along with my first time playthrough of Dark Souls Remastered, this isn't an uncommon situation where you have to backtrack and do stuff like this. I've been doing that a lot in Dark Souls. Alright, I think I've taken all that I really need to at this point. If I need to come back for anything, I can get it there. There was a chest there. That chest is pointless to try and get to, because we can't open it and there's nothing in it. So now that we're here, whoop, don't want to hit the shark. I want to take this sphere and I want to throw it into the lake. Now I can go out onto the frozen ice and take this key. But now the sphere is locked in here, but it served its purpose. We don't need to worry about it anymore. Or, if we want to, if we want to get it back, whoops, I need to be able to use... There we go. Getting over to click on those torches is a little bit tough. So it melts the ice, but now the sphere floats up. So now I can take it out of the ice, and we're good to go. And with one more door to open, we open this one. So now we have a long, cold hallway lined on either side by half a dozen coffins. So we can go this way and take a look at it, or what we should do is go back this way. Go in this secret door that we opened. And we want to take the arrow. Now, there are two torches here, but one of them we won't be able to take. What we want to be able to do is use this one. And that reveals a secret passage. Which, that being the case, I can take... Oop. Nope, it won't let me take the torch. Now, if we try and climb up this to get up into this door, this will give way and we will hit the ground and the debris will land on us and we will die. So as you see, there is a rickety bridge on the right and a standalone bridge on the left. So obviously the only one we can go in is this one. And now we have been met by a specter. It is a wraith standing in your way, barring your path. Now if we try and move by it, it's going to kill us. And it's going to kill us dead. So, we have this magical torch here. What we want to do is we want to use it. And obviously, we want to chuck it at this wraith. Oh. First thing I gotta do is I gotta light the torch. Now we throw it at it. That is one of those things that when you haven't played a game in a really long time and your muscle memory doesn't quite come back, you're like, wait a minute, this should work. But it didn't. So, but we've gotten rid of the wraith and we've picked up 2 more torches and we will pick up this cloak. And if you want, you can take a look at this stuff. Heavy cloak contains no frivolous adornments such as pockets or a hood. And then we can take the cloak. And we want to use this on ourselves to put it on. And we can open the door here. Move into this room. Now, there's a couple of things we can do here. First thing we want to do is we want to look at this sign. Sign reads Epor. And we have learned our first spell. Now, how spells work is pretty simple. Want to come down here, and we want to use Epor. And all of a sudden, we have ourselves a magic rope. Now we have a torch over here we want to take. We'll do so. And we have bottle 2. And over here at this wall, you see there's kind of a line here in the middle of this space. And it opens the secret door. So now we moved here, and what we want to do is we've got a socket here, which will require another gem. And this one takes the blue gem. Listen, warrior, the Warlock Lord can only be defeated by thy courage and the Staff of Ages. Remember 5 to find, 3 for the staff, 1 to be the key, and 1 to be thy pathway. Have thy wits about thee, warrior, fare thee well. And the door shuts, but we now have a scroll which we can open. As the shadow of the wind, thou shalt be. Humana. Now I've learned another magic spell. And now the scroll disappears. So now the only way to move back is to go back this way. And now we can go up. Because the rope will hold us. And we have 2 more torches that we can take. And there's a broom here, but, I mean, we could take it. I don't think we're going to need it for anything. And we want to go back this way. So now we are where the coffins are. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. What we want to do is we want to open this coffin. And we get bag 2, and we can take the coins, and these will play into what we need later. And I'm going to have to get a torch lit here in a second. Because I have 1 gone, and I need 2. Whoops. There we go. And we want to open this one. And there's a mummy there. Now what we want to do is we want to take this torch that is about to go out, and we want to use it to ignite the mummy, and now we have ourselves a big old shiny pink and white stick, which is the scepter. So now we can go back ahead this way where there are the mirrors. And now we want to use the... Whoop, there it was. The hammer. We want to hit this door. And the door is locked. And that's what key 3 is for. Now, before I move any further on this, when this game came out in 1989, and over the years since, it is still one of the highest ranked Nintendo Entertainment System games, but it's also one of the most genuinely appreciated games of the 1980s. Even though on Metacritic and on Game Rankings, the score is only 67%. That's for the Game Boy Color version. The NES version of this game got 4 out of 5 stars from all game. The PC version got 4 stars out of 5. The Mac version got 3 stars. But you have to bear in mind, back in the late 80s, game reviews of most titles like this were pretty hard to come by. But Computer Gaming World gave this game a very positive review, noting the game uses the same interface as prior Mac Venture games, which again ties into its PC UI point-and-click style. And the difficulty was known as a step up from Deja Vu and the third game in this series, which is called Uninvited, which was like a proto-survival horror type game. Of the three, that one is my least favorite. But one of the reviewers in Dragon magazine in 1987 said that Shadowgate is a great adventure game that you must continually be aware of what's already been accomplished to complete subsequent puzzles. And in that review, it got 5 out of 5 stars. Now, one of the other reasons why I want to play this game is because at the moment, there is a Kickstarter going on to be able to come up with a new modern version of this game. And it's being made by the same people who made this game back in 1987. And I am one of the Kickstarters backing that game, and I'm eagerly awaiting it to come out in the first quarter next year. So, it's a popular enough game that now, 35 years later, it is one where it's got enough of a cult following that people thought it warranted having a new version of it. And apparently it's going to be a lot more expansive, and it's going to have a lot more bells and whistles to it, which I'm really looking forward to. So, to get through this flame room, we're going to take the trusty old sphere that we used to freeze the lake, and what better way to put fire out than to drop it into this inferno and put it out. Now, we lose the sphere, but also we don't get cooked being in here. So now we move forward to this drawbridge. And if we move forward, Troll appears and says, "This bridge is mine. It'll cost you a gold coin to cross." Well, we don't have a gold coin. What we do have, though, is we've got a spear. And we're going to skew a troll. So, we listen to him fall, but he does not crash. Now we can move forward. And now we have a Cyclops here, who is not very interested in letting us pass. But, because we went and stocked up on stones, we just happen to have a sling. Now we can use the sling on this guy. Death to the Philistine! And it's dropped. Now, before we do anything else, we want to open the bucket. And we want to take the gauntlet. Now, something you can do to make sure that this stuff doesn't clog up your list, you can go and close these things when you open them. And something else I should do is, now that he is down, he's only knocked out, And now I skew him with the sword, and now he is dead. And now that we've got the gauntlet, let's put that on. Something else I like about this game is very much the music of it. It provides the right amount of mood to it, but isn't so overly annoying that it gets in the way of the overall gameplay. So we want to take this torch. And we want to open the door at the end of the hall. Now we can go that way, but first we're going to go over here. And we're going to take that skull. And we can look here, and there is a map for the lands of Tarkus. And this book looks old with the words the prophecy written on it. So we're going to open the book. You can't read the strange writing in the book. So now there is a socket here. And that is too big for a gem, but we will take the map. And then we will open this drawer. And we will take everything in here. So we will take the glasses, and the key, and scroll 3, and scroll 4. And close the desk. And what I want to do is I want to pull up scroll 3. Whoops, I don't want to use it. I want to look at it. Your hands begin to sweat because of your extreme excitement. Lands under the heavens the key to the world. Terra Tarak. Then I want to open scroll 4. To move the sun from far to near, light is what the darkness fears. Instantum illumina. And those are gone. Now I can take the skull and put it in this skull-shaped socket. Except it should work. Alright, well, I will put the glasses on first. Whoop. Now we want to open the book. Because now that we have the glasses... Whoops. Otari riseth. Now the book disappears. So we can't open that door yet. Actually, let me go back and look at my notes here. Again, that's the problem with not having played a game in a long time, is that your muscle memory is not quite what it used to be. There we go. So it does fit the red gem. I thought for some reason we need to use the skull here. Now we can come in here. And we want to take the bellows. And we take the poker. Yeah, we'll take the cup. And before I do anything else, we've got to light a torch, of which we've got 9 of them, so we're not in any danger here. So, before we leave here, there's a globe mounted on a stand for display. It shows all the known lands. Looking closely, you can see a seam along the equator. Well, in order to open it, we need to use a spell. And the spell we need to use is Tarak. Large crack appears around the equator. And now we can open the globe. And we will take key 6. And we will close the globe. Back out of here. Back out of here. And now we want to come over here. And we want to open this, because you see there's a little, like a hinge here. We want to take the vial. It's got water in it. We want to take the horseshoe. And while we're over here, there's a bunch of bottles and stuff we can take. Let's take the test tube. Bottle 4. Bottle 2. Bottle 3. And bottle 2. So we'll come down here. And because we're wearing the gauntlet, we should be able to take the flute. And now what we want to do is we want to use it. Take this gem, or we'll take the ring rather. Now we can come out of here. And we want to go up here. And before we go any further, we're going to commit a bit of small-time arson and burn the carpet. Because this allows us to take this key. And we want to use this one. Whoop, that key doesn't fit. There's key 6, and what I need is, key 5. There we go. I wish there was a way that I could organize this a little bit better, but unfortunately that wasn't built into the game. And then I want to use key 6 on the door upstairs on the left. And I want to use key 4 on the one that is still not open yet. And before we get too carried away, take the crest and the mirror. And we want to go up to the door on the right. And we have ourselves a Sphinx. we want to speak to the Sphinx. We don't want to try and go buy it. Except we're going to have to. No one may pass without my permission. To pass, you must answer a riddle, which is very Sphinxish. It has towns but no houses, forests but no trees, rivers but no fish. Dost thou know the answer? Bring me the answer to my riddle, and I shall let you pass. Well, I already know what that is, because these riddles aren't very hard, for one, but also, that would be the map. You have correctly answered my riddle, warrior. Thou may now pass. Now, we can't take the torches, but we've got enough that we don't need to worry about it anyway. Now we have a scroll here. Observing the stars, the throne constellation appears once every 5 summers. Legend says it is a portal to another land. Now on this wall, you see this map here, and there's a big old star. What we want to do is we want to take that. And then we want to open this up. And take the rod. Now we go up the ladder. You are captivated, so captivated by the woman's beauty that you momentarily forget her predicament. Yes, in the moonlight she is even more beautiful. But we do not want to be distracted by the very lovely lady in the very small dress shackled to the wall, because she's got to be there for a good reason. And the reason she is there is that if we try and take that thing on the side of her, we're going to find out she's not a lady. And what we're going to need to do instead is take this arrow, and I'm sorry, madam, but you've got to go. Because she transforms into a wolf. So now we take the blade. And we've done our work here. And we want to go up the door on the left. Although the evening air is cool, this small room, circular room radiates a fervent heat. Now, if we try and take the horn that is there on the ground, we got company. A large fireball suddenly appears in the room and causes you to shield your eyes. You notice the fire has changed into something far more menacing. That is a hellhound. But something we have in our pocket that can help us out is this. Just happens to be holy water. Hellhounds don't particularly like it, and away they go. So now we can take the horn. And we move up the ladder. Now we have a very large blue wyvern here. And if we want to try and take this thing, Beastie here will nigh be thrilled about it. So, what we want to do instead is, you're out in the moonlight, have a star. Star becomes a flash of light as you launch it. Strikes the wyvern and explodes into a million pieces. Poof. Now we can take the talisman. So that room is taken care of. And we're done here. And before I get too far away, time to light a torch. Go in this door. Speaking of torches, we got 2 more. And we want to go through the door on the left. From this windy ledge, you get an idea of the size and strength of the castle. Now, before we move any further, you see on this railing how there's a whole bunch of cracks and pots in it, but there's a little, like, spot right here. What we want to do is go back up through here and find, find the rod. Suddenly the sky seems to be on fire as a bolt of pure lightning strikes the rod. You are startled to see a skeletal hand rise from a hole that is formed at your feet. And we have taken the wand. And now the hand will go back down. It closes. We leave the rod there because we don't have any use for it anymore. We want to open the bag. So we could go for this, but if we go for this and try to open it, this whole side of this balcony gives way and we die. It's one of the many things I remember trying to be an absolute completionist in this game. We'll close the bag. And we will take the bag. And now we've got some moving to do because we got a whole bunch of backtracking. So we've got to get all the way back through here. All the way back through here. Past this guy. Past this bridge. Past here. Whoop, actually I know where we're going. So we're going to go this way. We go down this way. Whoops, hang on. Now I'm at the point where I'm starting to try and figure out where... There we are. Okay, so this is where we want to be. And what we want to do is we want to take bottle 2... and use it on ourselves. So now we begin to float in the air, and this gives us enough time to go across the rickety bridge and go here. And before that runs out, what we want to do is we want to take the... Whoop, I go the right way. The wand. And use it on this neck. Begins to shake and shudder. Is it just your eyes or is it shrinking? It's shrinking. Turns into a column of flame, and then now it is a very large staff. And we can move back this way. And we'll come up here. Whoop. Now we go up. Cross here. Now the troll is back. And he happens to have his spear that we skewed him with. But rather than paying him a gold coin, we have a spell that can help us get by it. As soon as the magic is invoked, you lose sight of yourself and you're as visible as the wind. And away we go. So now we go back through this door. We want to go here, and we want to take the passage on the right. So now we have a skeleton on a throne wearing a crown. And what we want to do is we want to put something back that was missing. And that is the scepter. Which opens that slot. And now we've got a ring-shaped hole. But before I do that, we need to light a torch. And now we can go grab the ring. And that opens that spot. Now we move down. As you see, there is a great gaggle of torches here. Not that we need to take them, but whoop, might as well. Now we could go this way, but we're going to wait first and we're going to go this way. And we're going to take the passage on the right past these gargoyles. The sulfurous fumes rise from the hot molten lava some 30 feet below you. Swimming would not be wise. Right. Now to get by this statue and be able to move on, we want to say another spell, which is the Motari spell. And the statue has now dropped, and we get the platform going across. Stalagmites surround this room like the cavernous jaws of a huge beast. So we have this here, this contraption, and there are 3 handles. The one we want to use is the one on the right. We want to pull this one first. And then we want to pull this one. But rather than pull the one on the left, we want to pull this one back up. Cylinder lifts with a shuddering sound, momentarily dazzled as the darkness is lit by a blinding flash. The silver orb is revealed, which we are, of course, going to snag. And the cylinder will close. So now we can move back out through here, back out this way. Now, if we try and go through this door, these 2 gargoyles are going to tear us to shribbins. To get by them, we need to speak the one spell we have not used yet, which is Illumina. Suddenly the cavern is so bright that you have to shade your eyes. It takes a few moments to regain your senses from the Nova Burst. Seems the gargoyles were also affected and haven't yet recovered from the spell, which gives us time to move by them and go this way. So now we want to use the handle to open the well. And before we do anything else, what we want is that we have all these coins. The one we want to use is the big coin. And we obviously want to take that and drop it down the well. As soon as you throw a coin into the well, a huge wind erupts from within it. It reminds you of the small dust devils you see in the autumn months. Now, we could open this door, but it's locked. So no point Instead, we will move down this way. You stand above a beach looking down upon a river. We want to use the mallet on the gong. And that brings the Riverman. Now, before we do anything, we want to be able to give the Riverman, because he's, if you know your Greek mythology, the boatman who controls the river Styx must be given a coin. And now we're able to go by. And now we have 3 options here. We have a socket with a sword, a crown, and a gem. And what we need is we need to put the talisman in the right one. The one we use... Whoops, I don't want to move it, I want to use it. And once we've done that, we want to use the horn. We blow the horn. And the door has opened. We go through here, and sure enough, the cavern that you have entered is by far the largest your eyes have ever gazed upon. And hello to the Dreadlord and the Behemoth. From the depths rises the most powerful creature that has ever existed, the Behemoth. Your stomach knots up as you stare at this new horror. The beast is indeed incredible. You wonder for a moment, how can you defeat such a creature as this? Well, luckily, we have all the components we need to do so. First thing we do is we take the blade. We want to put that on the staff. The then golden spike slides smoothly onto the staff and locks into place. We then want to take the orb and put it on the staff. Light cascades through the room as the staff becomes a living entity. And now we have the Staff of Ages. And there's one more thing to do. Point. Click. You praise and raise the Staff of Ages as it has the power that the prophets have claimed. The staff pulsates with power and a beam of light explodes from it, striking the Behemoth. Which is none too thrilled. And as it descends back down to the abyss, it takes the Dreadlord with it. The creature screams in agony, thrashing back and forth in great pain. In his rage, he grabs the Warlock Lord and descends into the depths forever. You can hear the Warlock Lord's screams fade into silence, and suddenly it is very quiet. A beautiful light seems to fill the cavern. The morning sun, you say to yourself, it is over. Although exhausted, you lean on the Staff of Ages and begin your long journey home. Word of your historic quest has already reached the farthest parts of the land. You are triumphantly greeted as you enter the gates of the royal city of Stormhaven. Moments later, you are ushered into the royal palace where you are greeted by the king. I know what thou hast done, brave one. The world would be dark forever without thee. And that, everybody, is Shadowgate for the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and we beat it in just under an hour. You are bestowed a kingdom to rule in the king's fair daughter's hand. As you leave the throne room, you know that although this quest is over, others await. After all, the bards will need new legends to sing and new tales to tell. The first stories end. Now, there was plans to make subsequent Shadowgate titles, but they never got around to it until, as I said, most recently, where they are doing the expanded Kickstarter version. There is a version of Shadowgate for Nintendo 64, which I have never played, but it is one I am curious to get into. And I don't know if we get a reset on this to credits or not. Instead, I'm just going to pod that down. But again, this was the whole idea behind wanting to do these one-day playthroughs, is that there are a lot of games that do not take a great amount of time to finish. So, with that in mind, let's get to our usual 2 questions to wrap this up. Is it a good game? Personally, and again, I'm speaking to this from a position of extreme bias, yes, it is. I have always enjoyed this game from the very first time I played it 35 years ago. Is it as challenging as it used to be? Not really. Again, it's one where if you've played it enough times and you remember enough things, I did have a little bit of a walkthrough to help me get past the bits that I wasn't entirely sure about. But for a first go-through, it is a challenge. There are a lot of puzzles that you have to do a lot of trial and error on to figure out. And like most things, again, playing into my current playthrough of Dark Souls, that is part of the fun. It is going through and unlocking all those areas and getting through all those puzzles and determining, okay, what is the next step? Where do I go next? What's the challenge there? What are the enemies there? And for a really small, self-contained story, I think that Icon and Kemco did a really good job of it. Again, you have to bear in mind, 35 years ago, it wasn't like it is nowadays, where you had to be able to expand so much stuff and put in so much, not necessarily fluff per se, but gamers like myself, we want things to be more in-depth, we want them to be more expansive, and games like Dark Souls and Skyrim and anything in this RPG genre has been designed to cater to that. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm saying it's how the art form has evolved. So, number 2, is it a game you could make today? Absolutely. And to that point, it's being done. First quarter of 2024, I will get the expanded version of Shadowgate, and I believe that is going to be coming out on Steam. I do not know for sure if it's going to be released on consoles, but you can track the Kickstarter of it if you go on there and look up Shadowgate. If you're interested in these games, and if you have a familiarity with it like I do, go check it out, because again, it's going to be a lot bigger. It's got a lot more involved than I don't know overall how big, but I'm looking forward to it. So if you've never tried these games, give them a try. Again, for the Nintendo Entertainment System, there were 3 of them. There were Shadowgate, Deja Vu, which was a 1940s noir private detective crime story, and Uninvited, which was more of a slight survival horror genre style. It's not like Resident Evil or games like that, but it's definitely got a creepier, scarier vibe to it than Shadowgate or Deja Vu. But for something that allows you to go back and visit a time where these games were a lot more popular, especially for PC gamers, it's worth a shot. So if you've enjoyed this, and I do hope you have, best way to show it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. We will have a WTF Wednesday coming up this week. Apologies for not getting more stuff out during the Thanksgiving week holiday season. It was a pretty crazy time for me as far as work and life stuff going on. So, but the nice thing right now is I'm on a mandatory 2-week vacation going into Christmas at the end of the year. So my plan for that is I'm going to backlog a couple of these episodes for both one-day playthroughs and WTF Wednesday, and get those rolling out into Christmas and New Year's and into early 2024. So that is definitely on my to-do list to get through. So we will have more content up. And of course, be sure to tune in this weekend, as we will be carrying on with our playthrough of Dark Souls. I believe we're going to hit episodes 19 and 20 this week. And I'm still having a lot of fun with it. It's been a game that I'm getting more and more of the appeal of it. I'm getting the challenge of it, and being able to understand how those games are developed, especially by comparison with a game like Shadowgate, has been really, really interesting. So be sure to tune in for those as well. Follow us on social media through Instagram and Threads at Ronan's Retrocade. We are on the doorstep, truly, we're 5 subscribers away from hitting our goal of 100, and then who knows, hopefully, how far we will go. But please spread the word about our Poke Little channel. We want to be able to build a strong community of people who like games like this and content like this. So your patronage and your ability to spread the word is, as always, most appreciated. And if there's a game you'd like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or MegaDrive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on social media. It can be any game from those consoles that you want. My name is Ronan. It has been great to spend this one-day playthrough with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you again for WTF Wednesday. Bye!